What's up, everyone? The Shot Tank boys are back. We did not get a 7-minute intro of tweets today, as you might have noticed, but we are here after an eventful Wednesday. But first, let's go around and do a little bit of a vibe check here. John, how you doing? How's life going?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. I've got a double pour of an old fashioned tonight. We're locking it in here for the show. Wasn't really feeling the beer. It's nice and rainy here today in Southern California, so just not wanted to cozy up with a little whiskey.
Nice. How you doing, TST?
I'm doing all right. I got two real nice so rare sweats going. My Raptors are up 15, so I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Oh, all right. So, just like every Wednesday, which it seems that whenever right before we do a show, something crazy happens, whether it's some good news or some bad news. And I don't think we want to talk about this too much just because I don't think there's too much to talk about besides it sucks and we're going through a recession. And regardless of where you work for, times are tough. But we do want to acknowledge, because we don't want people thinking we're avoiding this topic, Dapper put out a statement saying that they released 22% of their employee base. I believe that there's about 600 total employees before the release. So that's a pretty big chunk of people, and some people that we got to know and love at Dapper were also released, and some especially were particularly heartbreaking for me at least, and I'm sure you guys as well. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that, but just overall, very sad to see. Hope everyone lands on their feet. Rooting for everyone, obviously, and yeah, sucks.
Yeah, not much else to say. We just wish them all the best in their futures and everything. And there's a lot of them that will be very missed by us and the Top Shot community in general.
Yeah,
For sure. I don't have much to add to that. I mean, obviously it sucks that a lot of people are like, oh, I kind of was like, holy shit, 22%. That seems like a lot. Sounds like that's like not that crazy in the tech world, which is kind of nutty. I'm not really in that world, so but yeah, I mean it's a bummer, obviously, and it definitely puts a damper on things a little bit. But I mean, I think it's just kind of a little bit of a reminder about how much the economy is, having to do with where we're at. Not necessarily everything has to do with what decisions were made on the Flash Challenge a couple nights ago or something like that. So
yeah,
I mean, there's some perspective for you there. But yeah, I mean, bummer to see some of our friends get let go. Some people that we have, got to know a little bit over here the last 18, 20 crazy months we've been on here.
yeah. Pour one out for the real ones for sure. Let's hope that.
Be funny to see if some employees hop back in the collector streets.
I believe I saw one person in particular already do so, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I hope, I do hope everyone lands on their feet, and I do hope that especially some of the people that we've gotten to get to know stay in touch, because there's a lot of great people at Dapper. I think it's very easy to be mad at Dapper as a whole because you think they're doing a bad job at things, but these are people, and a lot of the times it's all the people that got let go, it seems, were not the people making the big crucial decisions either, which makes it a lot more sad as well. So best of wishes to those people. And I just really want to share this for anyone watching the playback so they don't think I was laughing at people being let go. But someone asked, does this mean Momentum Labs is acquiring Dapper? I believe we can either confirm or deny that right now.
Yeah,
definitely. It definitely would up our employee count quite a bit. But I don't think that's in our near future. We are entirely reliant on Dapper with about a 5% revenue stream from SoRare. So, you know, I think if anything, it'd be the other way around. Dapper goes down, Momentum Labs goes down, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Awesome. Well, now that we've discussed that, let's go ahead and move on to something a little less sombering, and let's talk about.
Let's just run through the flash challenges. I feel like we should go through like the last few flash challenges.
Yeah, I got some flash challenge thoughts as well. Some.
All right.
You guys just want to go through like you want to go through the last like week or so and just talk through them, or what
do the last week.
I'm down with that.
Pull them up here. I'm gonna pull them up here on OTM Premium behind the paywall now. Luckily, you know, got myself a Jolly Joker.
Hell yeah!
A couple days ago, so I still have access.
For life.
For life, baby. So I think the first two aren't really worth talking about, but maybe we can start with the Kawhi.
Okay.
As like the starting point, you think, or do you not want to go back that far?
I'm down to talk about the Kawhi. I thought that was an interesting challenge.
And then we could talk a little bit about some of the other ones. So the Kawhi, basically, for those of you who don't remember, because it was a while ago, that was the weekend one, right? So 0-2 teams, 2-0 teams. You needed Top Shot debuts to hold, and you needed rares to burn, right?
No, rares to hold, Top Shot debuts to burn. Yeah,
rares to hold, Top Shot debuts to burn. So just kind of clicking through, and that was that 7 days ago?
No, it was the weekend. So it was 2 weekends
so that was
ago,
over.
maybe?
That was over a week ago, huh?
Yeah. Oh wow!
So maybe we're not going to get a whole lot to figure out with that. I wanted to look at some rare movement. So is this not the best one to look at rares?
Probably I feel like it's a decent one considering the rares were like the bottlenecks. Like that's one reason I actually really liked the challenge was the burn moments are not the ones bottlenecking. So it's getting rid of moments in excess supply a little more naturally instead of like bottlenecking specific moments, which I think is always good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but basically
you're not
all
gonna
the
see as
burning
much,
was $3 or $4, right?
Yeah, you're not going to see as much movement in that one either because it was team based, right? So it's just so many different options.
Yeah, I guess the big one would be the Devin Booker. If we want to look at rare movement.
Jamal Murray was that was the wasn't that the Maxi? Wasn't that the one when Maxi went crazy?
No,
or
that was
way off on this, dude. That was the Wiseman.
Yes, correct.
All right, what the hell was the Jamal Murray? That was just 3-pointers. No burning, right?
Why don't you click on?
Yeah,
why aren't you clicking on?
I don't know. What am I doing? How do I?
Are you on the wrong tab?
Oh, I'm on the wrong tab.
You just have the
I've been showing a whole nother thing.
That's why I'm like, I think he's sharing the wrong.
Sorry,
thing.
There we go. That's great for TV.
That makes more sense.
I had been looking in a whole nother tab. Okay, so for the Jamal Murray, you needed to burn the top 3, I think, right? Is that what it was? I don't freaking know. This one doesn't matter either because it's not rares. We're off to a great start here. Now I just closed out of the damn thing.
At least your computer hasn't started yet.
Wiseman.
There we go. All right, we're back.
So Wiseman was the Tyrese Maxey thing, right?
Correct.
That was the one where
you needed
Tyrese Maxey kind of bottlenecked things a little bit, and then you also needed. Or you needed 2 maxis, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, you needed 2 maxis, so that's why it bottlenecked. But because otherwise the bottleneck would have been the rookie Bol. But still, the rookie Bol, I think, had some pretty solid movement because it was being burned.
Yeah, so the Bol is, I think, one where we could look at our first our first kind of test to see how things have stood up over a week, right? So if we open up the cheapest Bol, which is actually his Top Shot debut, which is kind of funny. This is kind of how things have shaken out since the challenge happened, right? So it was about $50. And then this challenge was less than a week ago, right? Is that right? So spiked up in the 140 range, kind of 130 range through the challenge. And then it hasn't really fallen off a ton, right? It's fallen off a little bit, maybe $15 or so, but has held relatively steady. And 152 of them were burned. 152 of this.
Wow. It's a pretty decent number for a debut.
Actually, kind of due to locking and due to the being held back in packs, this is actually circulating about half the cost, or sorry, half the mint count, which is kind of interesting now. But then why am I seeing one listed at 53 now?
So those listings get frozen on their site all the time. So
okay,
I wouldn't
don't base anything off of it.
Put too much into those.
Got it. So that was probably the big winner. Should we look at what happened to Maxi on that one too?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see if
that was the one people were scrambling to rent or get rent on Floaty or rent from people on Twitter. Like there was a lot of action on Twitter about that, which I thought was interesting. Wow, look at that.
So this one was in the 130 range prior, and then during the challenge got up to the 200s. I think, towards the end of the challenge was right about the top of the 200. So about a $60 premium or so, and it has held consistently above here, 145. So compared to, that's a day, sorry. Compared to kind of where it was right before 133, and now we're in the 145 range. I mean, that's a nice little $10 boost from Maxi. Why do you think that's propped up by anything? Do you think why do you think that stayed up a little bit?
Probably because I think people if you didn't have one, you had to buy two, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who decided to sell a duplicate, but they're like, oh, I'll just keep one because he's balling out right now. And Joker Rock kind of makes the same point with Bulbul. Like Bulbul's starting now, and he's been playing pretty well too.
Yeah.
So I think that probably has a little bit of effect on the price for sure.
Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing pretty well too. He hasn't really. His kind of stayed the same. And then let's just check Jalen Smith as another one that he needed before 85. Now it's 90. So depending how you kind of look at these things, month over month, last 2 weeks or so, it's pretty much the same. So I think that's kind of at least a good thing to think through, right? So for the most part, they're dropping down to kind of where they started for players that you just need to add. And then for burning, we want to probably look at the Booker, right? That's the best one for burning.
Yeah, correct. Because that was 3 rares you had to burn to get 1 fandom.
Yeah, that was the one where people were not
happy
about burning the rares.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Okay, so going into rares here, which we needed. How many did we need? 4, right? So we needed a Suns, which won't have that big of an impact. And then we needed a Gobert, a Holiday, and a Mitchell. So I wanted to look at Holiday here probably first. So the throwdowns, and then there were 4. Starting with the throwdowns, because there's probably quite a few. I wonder how many holidays were burned before that. Because I'm sure there was some that were burned during the summer stuff, but this was in the $55-$60 range, and then it jumped up to 90, and then now it jumped up again. I'm not really sure why it jumped up again. You guys know?
Would he be needed for this upcoming challenge? I've had a
No,
long day at work. I don't remember what the challenge was.
He started pumping this morning, or right?
Someone decided to climb the Drew Holiday leaderboards because he's on the top 10 MVP list.
Doesn't look like it. Just looks like a lot of buys here. Yesterday morning, just a lot of random buys buying it up to into the 110. So I saw that after, and I was like, I don't really understand why it jumped up higher. Because I think the same thing happened to our guy Mitchell too. Yeah, he's down at one. I mean, he's got a few more moments, but these things jumped up too. And so, like you can see, it was in the 90s.
Wow.
Oh wait, is this the right one?
I mean, if it's a Mitchell, yeah, it's a Mitchell rare.
No, this isn't the one that had the most volume though. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I think it's. I guess it would have been the metallic silver S3. Yeah, so this is the one that jumped up. So it went from 80, then it went in the 90s, and then again, like yesterday morning, this thing jumped up again to 110. Poker Pro Eric snagged one. He's probably in the chat somewhere. But yeah,
Poker
I don't
Pro,
know.
why'd you buy one of these if you did?
I don't really understand why people are buying them after. Do you? That's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just because, I mean, with the burning, like you said, with the bulbul, it'd be interesting to look at this moment that you're referring to. But I mean, the bulbul was at 40, basically under 50% circulation. Are we seeing a similar thing with those rares? Because I mean, if that's the case, it just allows those things to climb a lot faster, and maybe people see it on OTM or something like that, where they see this moment is increasing in value, and they're like, I don't know why it is, but I better grab one.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really make sense of that. I mean, maybe they're speculating. Like, what do you think, TSD?
It's just weird that they're speculating on the things that were just hit. I mean,
yeah.
Some of the, like, they're playing tonight, but like that wasn't announced yet. There has to be something we're missing.
Is speculation back? Is speculation back?
Is
well,
buying the requirements post challenge the new things? It's no longer a sell off.
The new meta.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess.
I mean, there could be just speculation, as in like, okay, once a player has been required for a burn challenge, if he gets required for a burn challenge again, then his like ability to pop increases by quite a bit. So I guess, but it just seems like a lot of people like thinking that way, and I feel like that's like a pretty risky one. But unless it's people buying back after they burned because they want to hold one. So like if people that complete the challenge are like, no, I want to have a Drew Rare, whether that's because like I want one in my collection or I want one for situations like that. That's like, I guess, the most logical thing I could think of. But it'll be interesting to continue to watch.
Or what if we're just getting tons of new users and they're just sniping? They're sniping, baby.
And they name themselves Poker Pro Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I don't know. My advice, and I was talking with people in my Discord about it a couple of days ago, because I was trying to figure out like how best to go about doing analysis for these flash challenges, because like, I don't know, I am pretty strong of the opinion that like it's not going to do anybody too good to be speculatively buying for the near future. I think it's just a bit risky, and like we kind of see this happen a lot where there hasn't been a whole lot of supply in a few months, but the season started. Evidently there's going to be packs that come out, there's going to be sets that come out, there's going to be new moments that come out, and I think people, like, if that's what it is and people are like, holy shit, I should buy another Drew Holiday rare because you might hit again, like, I don't know, I think that's just kind of bad process on how you're reviewing it.
Well,
but I mean, if
ping PvE so we can get the inside scoop in a sec.
That's good. And so I don't know. I just think speculating at that level is just super risky right now with the way that things are, and I just think you should either just kind of passively approach those flash challenges and be like, oh cool, my moments went up, or oh cool, my moments just lost some circulation and now they're more scarce, or maybe I'll sell into this one or whatever. But trying to get ahead at the like $100 level of moments is, I don't know. I don't know if that's a ball game that people should be playing.
Yeah, I would somewhat agree with that. I would say it is a little bit encouraging to see that Maxi jump as much as it did. I honestly didn't think that would happen. So there's still a little life, you know.
So like, let's talk a little bit like more about flash challenges in general. And so like a couple of things. I mean, we can all agree that like we're not the biggest fans of just this fandom set with no like just probably in general, but B also, you know, like I will say it's like a strong move for them to have the different like categories of it. So they're technically not all the same set, but it still doesn't move the needle for me personally. And then the like burning multiple rares to get a fandom, that kind of is like weird in people's mind, unless kind of you only really care about like mint count. But the other thing, like, I think we can all agree that we would like to see flash challenges that, you know, don't involve getting a moment back, whether that's like, you know, the part of the pack release that they were already going to do, part of, you know, like getting creative, kind of like with the league pass, you know, anytime we can have a reward that isn't more moments is probably a positive, and I think we can all agree on that. But one thing that I did think about was, what happens if they got rid of the base set and they said that this year the fandom set is going to replace the base set? So essentially, like, every player is going to get a fandom moment instead. So essentially, our base set would be more minted to demand. And then they could do something like, you know, this could also be like part of the requirements. So like basically anytime a moment is, you know, like over a certain number, so like to disclude maybe those 4K rookies, then it's just hold it. If it's higher than that, it's burn it. So, you know, you basically are like, okay, you know, a 4K rookie hits, you just have to hold it. But then that's like they have a 60K moment, then you have to burn it. Or they could even do it like you can hold one of the moments of a, you know, like say you have a rare of that player, you can just hold it. I don't know if their flash challenge builder could, but what are your thoughts on that as kind of an alternative to the base set, but still allows for, you know, us to actually get a lot of flash challenges?
I mean, I think yeah, so you bring up a good problem, right? Or a good point there, where they need to have the flash challenge, right? Because everybody loves the flash challenges, and it creates engagement and it keeps people coming back, you know, three days a week or whatever, just to kind of key in on what's going on. But and this is why I sent the tweet out last week, which people I guess didn't really land the right way. But you know, I just don't think that this fandom set being like 110 moments or whatever is gonna last. You know, it's like gonna just like, I don't know, it just feels like the momentum's already starting to fall off a little bit with that. And like, and so I agree with you, like figuring out a way, and that's what you know, I've been kind of harping a lot about that on Twitter, about like, you know, it's kind of a shocker that there hasn't been more innovation with a Series 4 so far, because I really thought there was going to be some unique things to like kind of make people think a little bit, and like make people like throw in some game theory type stuff like you're talking about, with like the multi layers of like holding, or like being able to, like, if it replaced the base set, I mean, that'd be cool. I think they probably wouldn't do that, just because they still need to get like so many, you know, 200 plus players out or whatever in the base set. But having this be like what replaces all the other non-base commons, I think is totally fine. Like, why do we need anything else? Like, don't, like, fresh threads, like hustle and show, extra spice, like just nuke all that stuff. Like, just have it be the fandom set, I think is totally fine. And then have everything else be rares and legendaries, I think is good. But like, you know, even I think one of the things that I brought up or maybe we talked about on the show or something, but of like, okay, if Jason Tatum, you know, in the first one where he came out with like 9,800 fandoms or whatever, if he's ever in a fandom moving forward, you have to use that first fandom and burn it, right? And so like then we know that he's capped to 9,800, and then it's this interesting like game theory thing about like if you're going to get another fandom, well now it's going to be half or smaller or whatever, and like maybe hold on to the Tatum at the end of the year because now it's down to like 1,000 or something. Like I don't know. It's like that's kind of interesting and really brings another layer to it. I don't know if it's maybe too complex for users. Like I know that's part of what they wrestle back and forth with is like, you know, making it easy for new users versus keeping it, you know, making it too complex for power user type of stuff. But
yeah, with that one too, I think it could bring up an interesting dynamic where it's like kind of like you're choosing like which play you want as well. Like you're like, oh, I want to keep this one versus burning it. Like this one's better, and allows them to kind of continue to like choose different plays throughout the year. I just think that like these challenges are important for daily engagement, like in a multitude of levels. But it definitely keeps people coming back for different reasons. It also adds, you know, that secondary sales for them. It just gives people a reason to hold more things as well, because they kind of have their bases covered by having, you know, one of each star for at least, you know, like the simple challenges. So all those things are why it is. It's just, I think they really need to start considering how to figure out like that, just adding more fandom moments. And if that's something like you're saying, you know, reducing the other sets and this replaces that. Even like, I don't know, like, could we not categorize those other sets? Like they don't all have to be the same mint count, but like, hey, like someone, you know, has, you know, a big hustle player, whatever. It's like, oh, this is the first hustle and show moment. It's so-and-so. And in the theme of hustle and show, we are going to do like players with the best dunks and the most steals tomorrow or whatever, blocks and steals tomorrow. You know, they can use those themes to work into the challenge and then have those. But I mean, purists are probably screaming right now and being like, you know, they're all going to have different mint counts. Your bottleneck's going to be crazy.
True, Mike. True.
From the top rope.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, I think they need to like. I mean, they could also be giving away stuff for future. So like, they could be giving away future packs, right? Or like let's say there's one where you need to, whatever the challenge is, you need to hold something crazy like I don't know, 15 like rookie TSDs, right? And throughout the night, like in order to complete the challenge, you have to hold 15 of them, right? Which is no short feat. But your reward is like you know, you get a Series 4 rookie TSD. Like, I don't know, they do some sort of freaking mumbo jumbo random raffle, and there's, you know, 3,000 of them go out to everybody who finishes it, and you get a random TSD whenever that time comes. Like, I don't know, that would like get people excited. That doesn't screw up their already planned, you know, supply. And it's just like ways to, like, that would be, I would define that as like a non-moment reward, even though the moment is a reward, because it's something that's like planned on their roadmap that they would be putting out no matter what, right? Where I think as we get into these fandoms, it's like if they're not a requirement, right? They're not a necessity. Like you don't have to put out a James Wiseman fandom, you don't have to put out a Devin Booker or whatever. And so that's where I kind of draw that line a little bit. And you know, one of the things that I've been harping on, and I don't know, it's getting about a 50-50 response rate on Twitter, is, you know, some of the challenges have been shitty. Some of the challenges have been great. I really like the Jalen Green today. That's a really interesting way to do it. There's multiple layers to it. I think it's hits kind of the right buttons for easy, medium, you know, hard, whatever. But like the question that you have to ask yourself when you're going to do this challenge is, why do I want this Jalen Green, right? Like, why should I care
For
about
moment
this
ranks play, baby. That's
20
why.
400 mint count Jalen Green or something, right? And if the
Yeah.
answer is he's only going to get a base moment and then, rares and legendaries this year or something or whatever, then like that's a pretty good answer. Like he's only like at this range of 24.99. I know it's going to be I just made up what the mint count might be, but let's say it's in the 2400, right? So that's outside of the rares, right? So you're like, okay, what other kind of common type stuff is he going to get this year? And it's a base set and that's it. Then it's like, all right, well, shit, like this is a good Jalen Green to have. It's going to be significantly under the 16K relative to maybe some of his other moments. It's a good one. Like he's got another fandom, which is like 5K, whatever. And, this is a good moment. But if the right now, the response is, I don't know, shut up, just get the Jalen Green. And like, maybe he gets an extra spice. Maybe he gets a hustle and show. Maybe he gets a fresh threads. Maybe he gets a sophomore debut, whatever. Like there's all this, I don't know. I've just
He could be in the Rising Stars again because he's a sophomore. You're not wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. So like, there's like plenty of other moments that Jalen Green could get. So it's like, why do I care about this moment? And like, I know nobody's agreeing with me when I come up with this on Twitter, but in like 3 months when you like have this Jalen Green fandom and then they come out with the Rising Stars, you're like, god damn it, the Rising Stars just lost, like the fandom just lost value. You're gonna agree with me at that point, and that's what I'm trying to like get people
John,
to like think
John,
ahead to a little bit.
just looked at the graphs. It'll go up when that happens.
Yeah, true.
People will buy it because they'll say, "Hey,"
they'll speculate.
And I'm just not sure. Like, I don't know. I got into some crazy ass debate with some guy on Twitter the other day of like, he's like going to why like the world would end.
This is John Twitter therapy right now.
Well, it's like he was like talking about why like the world would end if they put a cap on like player mint counts, like why it was like super like hard to do or something because it's based on like all this crap. It's like it's not that hard. All Day said we're coming out with 2 commons, 1 rare, 1 legendary this year. Like it's not that hard to do. Top Shot could easily do that, and I just don't understand what's holding them back from it. And it would provide like so much more. Okay, because like on All Day, people like still don't know if 1 rare is even too much or like I don't know. There's not these like ingrained like the tempo of moments and pace and like there's not this setup value like there is on Top Shot, right? But if people knew that on Top Shot that like Jalen Green's not getting another moment in this range at all for the whole year, I don't know, like that would be cool. Like you would probably get into that.
Yeah, and I mean to your point, I've completed a decent amount of the challenges. Like I completed the Jamal Murray, the Kawhi. I sold my Jamal Murray. I like there's no reason for me to hold on to them. So I've just been like, oh, you know what? I either have these moments and I don't have to burn, so I'm not gonna not get this reward because nothing's pumping, so there's no point in selling. But then I sell the reward. Like the Zion I sold too. So like and these are players that don't have a ton of moments, and I'm not super excited about these moments I'm getting because the reason I think people have these rose-colored glasses when it comes to fandom moments is because the Summer League fandom moments was a cool experience, and the first metallic silver fandom edition was like a grail. And so people, including myself, I went way overboard about that entire set because that first one was like like one of the best moments on the site. So I think it's one of the better moments on the site.
Wait, who?
Personally.
The Steph
The Curry 3-point record breaker. Yeah,
but that was still a backhanded compliment because you're saying it's a problem, so I'll take it.
Well, that's the thing, that the rest of that set is like the Klay Thompson coming back to the NBA moment's cool. The rest of that set is pointless. Like, what is the point of any of those moments? What's special about them? Oh, Paul George is low minted. Cool. Like, what does that actually get me though?
So doesn't that kind of make sense as a base set then?
Yeah, I love that idea. I think
because
super
essentially
cool.
Like it isn't. And then you know what they could do is that they could even like try to put a mint count cap on a player for fandom versus a moment. So like, like who is the one that like recently like not many completed? It was Devin Booker, right? Because there's all the like 216 people had it. So like okay, yeah, Devin Booker can get another fandom moment because there's 216 of that one. And this one can be an easier challenge. And they're never going to be able to nail that. But they could be like, no player will get a second fandom moment if they already have 8,000 minted. So like, you know, like, because they're not going to be able to predict what the final number is going to be. But at least you know that, like, okay, once they've hit a certain number, they're not going over that. And there's no more of that player coming.
I wish they would come out and say each player only gets one fandom moment, period. There's no reason there should be any more than one. And I don't know, maybe that's me going too hard, but like think about it. If they came out with another Devin Booker challenge, the people who already completed it would be furious because they'd be like, "Oh, this was a out of 200 mint rare moment, and now you're telling me that someone can get a fandom moment from this year, like for a fraction of the price." Like it just, I think you have to cap it at one.
This is why I keep tweeting the things I'm tweeting, Joe.
Oh yeah, I'm in complete support of JonBoyBeats and Momentum Labs. JEBCORP and Momentum Labs have been in tune for a long time.
So the other angle that they could have gone, right? If like I just don't like that they've done nothing, right? So like they could have gone like hey, we're gonna do a cap on this or whatever. Or they could have gone like full Ponzi and done like, you know, a master challenge and like, I don't know, make this like some other hyper loop that's running flywheel on the others.
There's going to be a master challenge of some sort. There's a reason there's 3 different sets. There's going to be some sort of challenge for all 3 sets. But
I don't know if I wouldn't go that far, dude. But
maybe instead of requiring the rewards, they're going to require all the requirements again. And that's why they're pumping posts. That's why everyone's buying.
PPE's onto it, maybe.
But even then, like, okay, let's say that I personally think they're going to do that. But even if let's say they do for
why don't they say like they're going to do it? Like what? Like they have all summer to think about these 3 freaking fandom
but
sets.
even
like,
if they
why don't we come up with a huge Ponzi and like announce it and like make everybody stoked on it?
Okay, but even then, if they say it, like, I guess it would get people stoked. But at the end of the day, what I was going to say is just the one bottleneck for each set is the only one that matters, right?
Yeah. No, definitely not. Like, so if okay, it's the one that matters for sure. But like, so like if they announce it now, every single flash challenge has like a new like wrinkle to it, right? Correct. And like everybody's waiting for a certain threshold or whatever. And like, you know, I'm sure there's going to be like, just due to the nature of how they do these things, there's probably going to be a lot that land in this like 300-ish range. There's going to be a lot that land in like the maybe like 1,500, and then there's going to be like, and then there's going to be a lot that land, you know, over like into the, you know, 6, 8, 9s, whatever. And so it would just increase like the level of like all these things, like as it's going on. Right? If they do all this crap, and then 5 months from now, they're like, all right, you get a, weren't they doing posters? Did we ever get a poster? I thought we were going to get posters. But you know, 5 months from now, they say like
designs they showed us.
That's just like
if you have the full icon set, you get
a phone wallpaper you can use, but you can only put on your phone if you collect them all.
Yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know. They saying, you know, if you have the full, you know, the challenge icon set, you get some other random crap. Then yes, the bottleneck only matters at that point. But they've lost so much like potential like pumps and excitement and mayhem of all the other moments over the last 5 months of everything that was anywhere close to that range, right? And on top of that, every time a moment would land like near the 300, 400, 500 range, like those aren't big swings, right? So like if somebody lands at, you know, 450 and somebody lands at like 390, like that's not a huge gap. Both of those moments would say elevated because people would not sell it, right? They just hold on to it. And like, yes, there would be a bottleneck, but each of the moments, like the bottlenecks would, like the moments would pump to not create that a bottleneck, right? Because like more people would want it because they already have, you know, they're already pot committed to 3 or 4 other moments in that similar range or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just like such a missed opportunity by not creating it a Ponzi, I think. I'm saying I'm calling it a Ponzi because that's what like everything in NFTs is, right? But
What
it's
a
like, might as well try something. Because like, okay, this is my other point that I was going to bring up.
Go for
When
it.
I touched on it a little bit earlier, like, oh, they want to make everything for like new users or whatever. I don't know. Here's the thing: we're probably not getting a lot of new users. So like, who cares if it's like super easy for new users to like understand, right? Like,
You know what's
why don't
easier
we
than
just
getting a bunch of new users? Retaining the few that you have.
exactly
Yeah,
retain it? So
yeah.
like,
I mean, I agree with
instead
that.
of like creating all these like easy stuff, like I don't know, make them hard. Like make them like for like the 5,000 of us who are sloshing money around here, and like just make us be super engaged, and like from there, I don't know, maybe we got a chance to grow.
Yeah, and I agree. I think I actually shout out to a deep thread in the chat. Someone pulled up an old Roham thread, basically where he was explaining why we need to oversupply, and a deep threat had a very basically predicted the future in the replies and got a lot of shit for it. So I just want to shout out to a deep threat for predicting the future and knowing exactly where this was going. Because
did he sell everything at that point and then buy back now?
Good question.
He said he predicted the future.
He did. The question is, did he take his own advice?
Yeah,
that I don't know, because
he's too passionate at that point, I think.
let us know in the chat. A deep threat.
Javonte's going off tonight. 6 steals.
Jeez.
36 points, 9 assists, 5 threes, 6 steals.
How many
He's got
rebounds?
more steals than turnovers.
How many rebounds? Does he have
5
a 5?
rebounds. 4 rebounds.
He gets one more. He gets a 5x5, right? Oh no, he's out. No blocks. Never mind.
3s count.
3s count.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the deep threat sadly didn't sell. He had faith.
That was your mistake.
It was all of our mistakes. Oh, life is pain.
What else we got to talk about? Oh, I want to bring up my stats that I've been doing.
Yeah,
maybe I can get your guys' opinion on this.
Bring those up.
Jeez, DeJounte
So I
Murray
wanted
has
to
120 MR play points, moment ranks play points.
I thought you were gonna say SoRare.
I don't have him in SoRare, unfortunately.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of get your guys' take on this a little bit. I mean, one of the reasons why I started putting this together is, you know, I get a lot of shit for the question I asked on all day, which like took 10 hours to ask or whatever. But I was basically asking like, okay, what is like some of the stuff that you guys look at, right? Like you can't just look at like I don't know. There's got to be some other things, like some other metrics that, as an economy team or whatever, like you guys are tracking and seeing if things are like moving in the right direction. And evidently that's not really something I can answer because he DM'd me after and was like, "Oh yeah, I can't really say anything about that." But that's so I decided to basically create my own for Top Shot because, like, we can bitch complain all we want on Twitter and everybody can, say everything's good or everything's bad or the world's ending or the world's safe or whatever. But if we don't actually like have some stuff that we're tracking over the course of this year, how do we know if like their goal, which it's a very stated goal that Series 4 is all about economic health, right? That's their number one priority, blah, 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 blah. So how do we track that, right? How are we going to see if that's going in the right direction? I saw Mike jokingly kind of ask like, what would make you start buying again? And I think this is right. I want to see a solid like 3 months of positive stuff come from these numbers, right? And then I'll start thinking about it again. And so I just want to run through it, get your guys' initial take on this stuff. So the first section I have is just like basically stuff that Top Shot controls, right? So moments burned, moments added, the delta of moments, which we can see over the first 2 weeks of the season, they're both in the negative, which is positive, or which is a good thing.
2 negatives makes it positive.
2 negatives make it positive. Revenue from pack sales, revenue from the secondary market, and revenue total. And so obviously there'll be some weeks where the moments added are, quite a bit more when they do pack drops. They'll have quite a bit more pack sales, in the future, stuff like that. But I want to see, like, do you guys think we're ever going to see some weeks where this negative number is huge, or do you think it's always going to be in this like 10 to 15K range?
Do you count like that's just burned and added? Where do ones currently held back by TopShot range in this?
They are just kind of down below here in the supply metrics.
Are they considered?
Actually, they're not even in the supply metrics. They're not in the supply metrics. They're not in this at all.
So they're not considered an added, nor if they burn them, would they be considered burned?
Yeah, I don't think they should be considered like Top Shot. A lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, Top Shot's burning like 2 million unreleased moments." I think it's good that they're doing that. I think that's a good thing, but I don't think, to John's point, like since this is tracking like the health of the economy, I don't think you can really give them credit for that. Because it's not released. It's not in the economy, right?
Well, and it's a good point you bring that up because we were talking about that in my Discord the other day. So there's like 10 million moments that aren't okay. So there's of the full supply or whatever that's visible on the blockchain. There's like 6,800 moments that are like held by TopShot, whatever that like category is on the blockchain. Then there's 5 million that are in packs, and then there's 5 million that are in the locker room. So burning the locker room would be kind of a wet fart, right? It wouldn't really be that big of a deal, and like would kind of actually be a little bit disingenuous, I think. So then we're talking about they got to burn the stuff that's in packs, right? Which I don't know. We'll call it an even number, 5 million. Maybe 1 million of those are with collectors, and maybe 4 million are with TopShot, right? And so of the that percentage that are with TopShot, like 85% of them are Series 3 moments, right? And of the Series 3 moments, like 95% of those are like 60Ks, right? Or the 30Ks, or even the 9999s that don't matter either. And so like so going through like the buckets of what people care about that get burned, right? Is people care about the Series 1 moments that are not released, right? I think that's very clear that people are intentionally not buying those moments or whatever until all the supply trickles out, right? We see that all the time on Twitter, people talking about that. Then I think there's a smaller trickle down effect to that of the Series 3 4Ks, which some of them still have like, I don't know, half the supply to come out, right? Like there's a decent amount of 4K rookies from Series 3 that still need to be released. And I don't know if that's as, big of a talking point as Series 1 supply, but I have seen people talk about that as well, the Series 3 4Ks, right? And so you would have to assume the buying pressure / price point / whatever is a little bit baked in for those moments also. What's not baked in at all and what nobody cares about is the 60Ks or the 30Ks or whatever, right? And so like it's not like I don't know, it's not like you go click on any random 60K and you see that like there's still 15K more to come and you're like, oh crap, like that's why this is worth $2, right? Like
I can't buy this at $2. It's gonna go lower.
Yeah. Like I'm definitely not holding this bad boy because there's more of these coming. I'm gonna list this, right? Like that's not. It doesn't matter. They're all worth $2 no matter what. And so, like burning 2 million of those, I don't think does anything. Like I don't think it does anything at all.
No,
now if they burn a bunch of Series 1 or they burn a bunch of 4Ks or whatever, maybe that moves the needle a little bit. But
no, all it does though is prevent the future damage it can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's to not give it TopShot any credit for this. Let me
any future damage they could do elsewhere though.
But
yes, there is. But this is one that kind of already exists, and they could just kind of be like, "Hey, let's start something trending on Twitter and throw all these out."
Do you think that's even future damage? Like, okay, if I don't know, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but let's say like half the 60Ks are worth $2. Like, if they come out with 2 million more of them tomorrow, like I don't know, they're worth $1 or like $1.50 on average or something. It's not like that big of a damage.
If they did that, that's when I finally am done with TopShot. That's the final. That's the final straw for me. I do think, like I said, TopShot shouldn't get credit for burning those moments, but I do think there is a small moral victory for people, users, collectors, to just see that percentage like drop, right?
Yeah. Someone in my Discord threw something out, and it's stop, drop, and roll. And he was saying that when they do this burning, they should like not necessarily burn it all at once, but kind of be like, okay, today we're burning this, and kind of like announce it, and just like kind of maybe like bring focus on what it is. So like, for example, they used was like, oh, today we're burning the gift. The gift's gone. Then like the next day, it's like, all right,
kind of cool.
We're doing like Series 1 rookies. All the Series 1 rookies are getting burnt, and just like show focus on like what exactly is getting burning and like the change. Obviously, when they're like, okay, we're burning the 60K of James Harden, it doesn't matter. Like those ones won't matter. Maybe they just say, okay, we're doing the base set of Series 3. And then the only ones that matter are the rookies or whatever. But just like, instead of being like, okay, we're burning them all, and then like we snap our fingers, and like supply is technically the exact same as it was the next day, because that's what it is right now. It's unreleased, but just like kind of like be like to kind of like show people like the differences, because like the platform does a poor job of that. It's improved, but like some of these moments with locking and burning, the number's very different, and there's others that are very much higher. But
yeah, no, I like that. I make it an event, and you know what? How about you do this every day? A user has to. First of all, I saw this on Twitter, kinda. So I want to say I'm stealing it from this. Someone said that in order to access the site every day, you should have to burn a moment, which I'm a fan of that. What if every day
new users access the site, burn a moment you don't have yet?
Brilliant. I was laughing, but what was I going to say? Oh, add another element to that where it's a community thing where you have people guess how many moments are being burned that day, and the person that's closest gets. It's like one of those jars of jelly beans where you look at it and you're like, oh, I think there's like 2,652 jelly beans in here.
No, dude, no. That would not make me want to buy Top Shot.
I'm kidding. It's a completely
okay. Here's what they should like. What if they said, okay, today we're burning Series 3, but we're grabbing all these 4Ks from the packs, and there's, I don't know, 10,000 of them, and tomorrow we're gonna do a flash challenge, and you get one of them. We're also doing a pack drop, $50. You get one of them. I don't know, like do some stuff like that.
Burn other Series 3 for it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Like there's so many things that they could do. Like I don't know. It's so frustrating coming up with ideas of like what they could do, because it's just
all right. Hear me out. We Top Shot rents an island, and they physically burn the moments on live stream every day until they're gone. They build a big bonfire, and
why do they need an island for that?
I don't think they need an island or a bonfire, dude. It's all
because I'm assuming Roham already has an island, so we might as well use it, right?
I think they're trying to get costs down.
Let's move on here. I think my new slant is going to be, they did Dick all over summer, and they haven't done anything innovative in Series 4, so that's my new slant. All right.
I think that's new for you.
No, but I'm really going to start leaning into that, because like all the other stuff's old, but not being innovative, I think is a good one. Okay. Crypto Slam. I look at the Crypto Slam numbers, and so sales actually didn't drop too much week over week, even though transactions, buyers and sellers all pretty much got cut in half. So I think that's a positive, and we'll see some of that down below, where the weighted average sales went up. So like, yeah, it was kind of cool to see a couple more of our friends there last week, but now it's the same 5K of us all, tossing money around back and forth, back to how it was, right?
Top Shot Pierce, baby. We're
average buyer volume went down a little bit. So this is just like transactions divided by buyers, right? So the average buyer bought 6 moments last week, and the average buyer spent $121 last week. And then I have top 10 buyers and top 10 sellers, right? And so you can see in week 1 there was a lot more selling going on. And then in week 2 there was actually a little bit more buying than selling from the top 10, which is good. And the one thing I did bring up as a cause for concern is the volume on the top 10 sellers almost doubled. So a lot of offloading going on at some of the whale range there. So that was I think on the bad or the ugly, one of them. And then we just have some general supply stuff. So series 4 supply, total supply, all this counts is moments in people's accounts plus moments in the locker room. And I think I'm actually going to break out the locker room starting next week. And I think I'm also going to break out locked moments just to see how things move for locked. But yeah, part of me thinks that they have to burn the locker room a little bit, which I know is a hot take, and people wouldn't love too much. But I mean, just due to the numbers, I think they kind of have to.
Why would people not love it?
Yeah.
Because it's changing it up?
Because, okay, maybe it's just, you know what? I actually maybe might change this take. I think people would love it because when the locker room was announced, nobody freaking understood how it worked, right? Everybody was like, that's BS. These moments aren't actually getting burned and blah, 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 blah. They didn't understand that it's a deflationary tool. That was a whole Twitter battle. I think all of us had back in the day. They're like, no, this is actually a good thing. Like, everybody relax. And now I think people have figured out that the locker room is deflationary. And like, even though some moments come out, there's always another moment going in and it's always growing. And I just think them burning those is like very similar to burning like S3 base moment. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't like move the needle, right? It's kind of like disingenuous to this whole like burning the extra supply we have, because like they're still going to use the locker room as a function. So it's like that's like me getting like the notification from Gmail being like, hey, your like inbox is full, and then me going to like, my random like social folder and like clearing all that out and being like, all right, cool, I got an extra like 3 months now. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't like do anything, like nobody cares, right? It doesn't like move the needle.
I had that similar take I think a week or two ago where I was like, yeah, they're going to burn the locker room and it really doesn't do anything, but I think it's going to once again be a moral victory for people, because I do think more people now understand what the locker room is, but I still feel like there's people who don't necessarily. So to them, seeing that locker room burn is a huge, like, life-changing experience for their Top Shot collector journey, maybe.
They're going
life-changing. Life-changing.
Life-changing. Life-changing.
I don't know. What's your take on that, JC?
I would say, like, take everything in the locker room that isn't a base moment, you burn it, and then you take everything that's left and you do a one-time, throw it all in packs, and then you do like burn for these packs, just any moments, and then you just get rid of it. And instead of, you just start burning. Like,
no more locker room, basically. You're saying like you're saying get rid of the locker room.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're burning the locker room, if you're burning the locker room, you get rid of it, like, completely.
I don't hate.
Not that. Like every now and then we're just gonna hit delete, because like that doesn't really make sense either.
Okay, yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I was thinking of it as a like clear out the inbox, get ready for Series 4, more locker room stuff. But if it's like we're gonna burn the locker room and then we're like trade tickets are nuked, like don't even think about the word trade ticket ever again, and it's all just gonna be burning, then that could be good. I mean that's just like the classic like Top Shot having to.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez.
Man on the street. Man on the street.
Guys, we've had fucking spreadsheets for like 32 minutes. What are we doing? That whole time.
We're waiting for you to get out of the metro, dude.
Dude, I was on the train for a long time. I left Knicks Hawks game in the third quarter because I don't even have a good excuse. I just am an old man. What did I miss? Did we already yell about this stuff?
No, we were
Which
waiting.
stuff?
We were waiting to really yell for you. We were waiting for you.
All right, I promise I'm not going to take up too much time. I'm sure I'll do a full hour on this tomorrow. I just want to say to everyone who saw my tweet and thought I was fucking screen grabbing that to take something out of context to make a point, have you not watched a goddamn thing I've ever done? Like, were you just like, have you not followed me on Twitter? Did you decide today to look and be like, wow, looks like he's coming out of the woodwork for this one? What the fuck are you talking about? If you can't figure out the context of that, the point behind that tweet is like, yes, of course, if someone's going through a mental health crisis, we want them to get the help and be a better person. Absolutely. What I'm saying is there's no way in hell she didn't know the entire, I'm sorry, not the entire, only a quarter of the organization was going to be let go today, right? And if that's the case, I don't know, pick a different fucking GIF or don't tweet. Like, that's, are you kidding me? Like, and then, like, clearly it was bad because it was taken down. Also, guys, do me a favor. Tell me the one thing Top Shot's done well this year. What's the one thing? Let's go around the room. What's the one fucking thing we've done well this year?
What's what everyone says? The best thing that's come this
Parallels.
past year.
Parallels.
Everyone says the captain's program.
Correct.
The captain's program. The captain's program that had one person running the whole goddamn operation and then a bunch of volunteers. And that person's no longer here. And you know who they promoted to take care of the captains? Another fucking volunteer.
No
way.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
We have a volunteer now running the captain's program until they figure it out. Like, are you kidding me, man? And then people are going to be like, oh, no, like, give them a break. My initial tweet was not at Jamie. When I said the Dapper leadership is too chaotic, I'm talking about the guy that gets on Spaces and then has to make his whole company react and be like, yeah, figure out how to get a truck full of flow to people, or figure out how to create a champions program tomorrow because on MSNBC. I'm talking about Roham, who all of you sickos change your PFPs to his face because you're like, oh, guru, all right? That's what I'm talking about. I wasn't talking about Janie. Janie was the second tweet, and I was very clear with what I was talking about there. It's just like, man, what a shit show, dude. What a fucking shit show. Ugh.
Yeah.
They had me do a live show today. I had to find that information out and they'd be like, oh, welcome to Top Shot. You guys want a legendary moment? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did not know about the volunteer thing, but that is like, it was already absolutely insane how much work they put on JP. Like,
right?
That, like, I think you said this in the live stream, but you was like, that's something that JP should be in charge of 4 or 5 people to delegate. And now they're having a volunteer take care of a bunch of volunteers.
Well, listen, I should say, I don't know. Maybe this person has been promoted from volunteer to paid person in the last 8 hours, which would be wild for them to promote a volunteer to a paid person while they're taking away paid work from paid people.
Yeah, there's no way they would do that. There's no way.
And people are like, hey, man, dude, I don't know if you've ever seen a fucking company before, but sometimes they do layoffs, bro. It's like, yeah, thank you. I thought today was the first time layoffs have ever happened. But without your tweet, I would have never known that it's happened before. Thank you so much for your service. Fucking happy Memorial Day. No, of course I understand that stuff happens. But if you aren't able to, I mean, dude, the writing's on the wall for me, man. I've been saying this from the very beginning. I'm not trying to victory lap this shit, but this stuff starts at the top. It's been a shit show for a while. And like, guess what? Still a shit show. And what they decided to do is like, hey, what if we get rid of all the people at the bottom? Do you think that would fix the direction of this? What if we fire out
doing the actual work?
Yeah. What if we fire out 1 sentence at a time to let us know what the direction is? Like, guys, this shit trickles down. Richard Nixon was right. This trickle down to economics. Stuff's not addressed. But when that stuff starts at the top, and when it's not addressed, we're gonna continue down this path. And then, like, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna be like, dude, guess what though? We've got some sick MGLE parallel bronze gold firefucks coming out, and you're gonna be jacked up about that. And then we'll have a different thing happen 6 months from now, and we're gonna have the same conversation over and over and over again, like we've been doing for the last 6 months. And the only idiots are not the leadership, really. It's us. It's us that we continue to do this shit. And people are like, oh, dude, what about SoRare? Shut the fuck up.
Well,
God forbid.
no,
love
not
this. I
shut
love
the
this.
fuck up. Click the link in the description below and join today.
I can't believe it. I like the people jerking on. Oh, no, I should be careful now. But the people that are just like coming to the defense being like, guys, listen, it's actually not that bad. Like, I mean, the damage control is wild. It's actually pretty normal to lay off 25%. Like, that's a huge number, guys. That's a big old number.
I will. Okay.
Big number. I went into the Discord today and I was like, holy shit, because I was a little bit busy at the end of work today, and like I wasn't really in the weeds on everything, and I saw the Dapper like article, and I was like, I read it, and I was like, oh damn, 22% is like quite a bit, and then a couple people were like, it's just tech world. And I'm like, oh shit, is that tech? But like, it seems like a lot of people.
So it is
Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry, go ahead.
It is the tech world, but that's not a healthy practice. Like, and there's some argument to be made that like Dapper like massively grew from like nothing to this massive thing, and they hired a ton of people, and so now this is some sort of correction. But that's still not a healthy process that a company should be doing. Like, there are a lot of tech companies that fire massive amounts of people, but a lot of those tech companies don't make it long term.
Hey, go full screen one more time.
Let's go.
Yeah, okay. I got a question. How many of those tech companies let everyone know what their fucking severance package was? Why was that out there? I don't need to know that every single person that got let go in a press release that they're like, well, hey, dude, good news. They still have mental health benefits and 3-month severance. Why is that? Like, imagine today's your last day at your job. Not only do you have to deal with that, you have to talk with your family, figure out what your next steps are. It's like, dude, just check Twitter, Roham, let everybody know I got 3 weeks. Or 3 severance. Like, why is that being released? Is that normal behavior? Did I miss that? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
that's it. And a full screen. Is that normal? Am I missing out? Is that normal behavior?
No, there's no way that's normal.
I don't know.
Like, dude, hey, that's crazy.
I've never been let go. I'm not sure how it works. I think if my company let me go, they wouldn't tell everybody what my severance was.
Dude, we haven't heard from Roham since some like weird ass spaces where he's like, dude, good news, billion.
Yeah.
We got a bill. And the next time we hear from him, it's like, hey, you know those people you like that have been working their ass off? Well, we did give them 3 months. Like, what?
and what?
Yeah.
4 months of mental health or something? An extra month or something?
Yeah,
well,
dude, that's
I
huge
will...
because mental health after 4 months you're actually fixed.
Yeah. I will say they're gonna need years of therapy after having to work for Dapper for however long they did. So 4 months isn't going to cut it.
They fucking waited for Kyrie to go nuts to be like, hey, I bet we could slide this out here and no one would notice.
Oh, yeah. It's a disaster any way you cut it. It's looking super bad is all I'll say.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for that.
Getting burned for mental health benefits.
That is good. I would love to do that. It's just wild to me. I mean, John, I know you were in our like messages today being like, hey, have they started like, I don't know, did I miss it? Are they like marketing or anything? And then it was like, no, they're not, but they did let a bunch of people go. Like that is like
that was totally unconnected. I was actually asking my Discord, and I was like, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, all right, flash challenges, whatever. Like, that's kind of all they got going on right now. But like, they were talking about some marketing stuff that they're gonna do, and then I was going back through it. I remembered my first interaction with Janie ever was listening to some random ass spaces that she was on, where she was like, "Oh yeah, it's the All-Star break, and like it's way too late to start marketing." And I was like, I thought I remember that correctly, and so I went through my tweets and I found that, and like, yeah, that's exactly what she said. There's like, it's too late to market at the All-Star game. So then I was like, all right, it's November, and like they talked about using $35 million worth of marketing. Here we are in November, like we're they're 3 months away from the All-Star break. Like have they done marketing? Like, I don't know. I don't think the Magic Johnson stuff counts. I would assume that's part of his package with the anthology stuff. Like, I don't think the Cade stuff counts, but I don't really know how marketing works. But like, maybe that Cade stuff counts a little bit. But like, I don't know. I haven't really seen a whole lot elsewhere on the marketing side. It sounds like some people came back, so there's some good Facebook stuff with Harrison Barnes. So we got some Facebook
we can get the
Facebook ads with
Facebook bros.
Barnesy. Yeah. So we got some stuff
dude.
going
Based
there.
on the news I've read, Facebook's going up, so that's good.
I think they've fired a lot of people at Facebook. So maybe even 22%.
Man,
So yeah,
I'm like,
I don't know. It
seriously,
just seems funny.
I know I was yelling. I don't want to get it like twisted. Of course, I mean, I hope it was clear that I'm like pro the side of people not getting fucked over and losing their jobs. And like clearly the mental health thing is a real thing. And I'm like, I probably need to go talk to someone after that like rant as I was running around and yelling. But like, and you know what? I do. So fuck off. But like, I just don't. I just don't get it, guys. I'm very confused as to where we are, and it seems like I honestly, it just continues to seem rudderless. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Man.
I agree. I mean, I blatantly sold off all my shit over the offseason because I said I don't know where the fuck this stuff's going, and we'll see what happens. But like, I don't know. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, even the dude that was mad at you for selling all that stuff, he's mad too now. So
Yeah, he's now mad too. I'm like, oh, it comes full circle. Like, there was a guy that was like on the daily tracking my sales and like, oh,
he's tracking everyone.
How can you still like have a Twitter if you're selling all your Top Shot? Just literally 2 days ago, he's like, oh, the value of my Kevin Durant fandom went down because of this new Kevin Durant fandom. It's like, yeah, dude, welcome to like how Top Shot runs things.
Welcome to a Ponzi.
Yeah. Okay, but that gets back to my other point. We don't need marketing if they just lean into more Ponzi's and they really have. Okay, it's so true though. It's so true. Okay, we need we need new focus, whatever.
Ponzi's need new users though.
Okay, if they're laying off 22% of their company, that means we're not in a great spot financially in the world, right? Economically, whatever. That probably means not a lot of new users are coming to spend like whatever money they want on video clips, right? So that probably means we don't need to spend all this marketing budget on trying to get new users who aren't going to stay. So then let's get some more Ponzi's going with like the existing users, right? Like let's get the 5K of us here that are still like, have some stuff going on, have some moments, are caring about create some Ponzi's, get the hype going. Like, I don't know, come out with freaking Top Shot coin and it's like just random ass crap, right? Like it doesn't even mean anything, but like people are excited about it, right?
I hate to break it to you, but we all did get early access to La Liga, man. They are still firing up different Ponzi's. We just got to take advantage of them.
That's true. Damn it.
All right, I have to go back inside. People are looking at me funny. I'm gonna get jumped soon. Guys, thank you for staying on long enough so I could scream. I'm gonna do a full hour. Tomorrow morning. I'm gonna sound like garbage. I learned from Twitter that the Hawks won, so it was worth it. But good stuff, boys. Good stuff.
We'll send it. I think we should send it off with that.
Yeah.
We'll send it off with that. All right.
Yeah, it's not gonna get better than that.
God, I'm so fucking angry.
All right.
Roll the credits.
Let's just close out real quick. So I encourage everyone watching to go tune in to Zakarian tomorrow morning. It sounds like we can't miss television. So let's I'm excited about that. I'm excited to watch that back tomorrow, Mike. TSD, do you have anything going on besides pumping out a SoRare video every day?
Just SoRare video every day. I'm sweating hard here. I'm on 55th in the rare contender and 163rd in the limited champion. 163rd in limited champion.
Talk about a Ponzi that's
55th in the rare
contender. Is crushing.
Banton got a lot of burn in that Raptors blowout, so he put up 20.
Wow.
Dude, fucking
cap of 5, baby.
Were you saying, was that the limited champion you were in? Where were you at in that?
Limited champion on 163rd, but the rare contender on 55th. And I still have a player that hasn't played yet.
All right, whatever, dude.
224 in the limit champion, and Jacob Podol freaking screwed me today.
It's Jakob, dude. That's the problem. You've been calling him Jacob.
Yeah, it's Jakob. And it's Portal.
Whoever he is screwed me.
All right, I
right.
gotta get out of here.
John,
Later,
you-
guys.
All right, see you, Mike. John, do you have anything to promote before we say goodbye?
Momentum Labs, baby, $99 a year. We should have a flash challenge tracker, I think, coming up for NFL. I keep saying that. Moment Nerd's like, dude, I'm working on it, man. We're close, but I think we got that coming soon. But yeah, we got a lot of shit going on in Momentum Labs. Come hang
Awesome.
out.
Thanks everyone for checking this out. I hope everyone has a good rest of their day. Ponzi's to the moon, boys.
Ponzi.